So Reliance Industries and Viacom 18 have formed a joint venture with Disney that's supposed to merge their digital streaming and television businesses in India. Remember, Disney has Star TV, which it bought from News Corp, and this will basically create a massive content powerhouse. And there are at least two major global companies involved over here. Reliance Industries doesn't historically have content, but they do have content businesses under Viacom 18, and they'll be investing about 11,500 crores for a 16.34% stake in this venture, which is valued at post money, after the investment, at about 70,352 crores. The remaining stake is going to be distributed between two other companies, Viacom 18, in which Reliance Industries has a majority stake and will own about 46.82%, and Disney will own about 36.84%. And Reliance is also consolidating its stake in Viacom 18, is buying Paramount's 13.1% stake in Viacom 18 from Paramount for about 4,286 crores, according to a regulatory filing. So this basically means that Reliance will control the venture, and Hotstar and Star TV channels are being transferred from Disney to Reliance Industries. Collectively, the venture is going to reach, according to their announcement, about 750 million users in India, with Viacom 18 and Disney holding significant stakes in this venture. So it's going to lead to a consolidation in the entertainment industry, especially in broadcasting, including cricket, kabaddi, and sports, and remember, because the Zee and Sony deal, which has been in the docks for a while, has also broken off, this is a tricky period. So the content industry and the distribution, the streaming industry, the TV distribution industry has been in a flux for a while. I met some folks working in Bollywood recently, and they said that new shows are difficult to come by because very few players are actually commissioning products. In fact, especially in animation, because of 3 mergers being taken in play, no one's buying animation content. There was also a Discovery Warner deal happening in place. So this deal gives access to Reliance to Disney Productions, Disney Films, about 30,000 pieces of content in all. And of course, the deal isn't done yet, but it's likely to get done. It's subject to regulator and shareholder approvals, and we should see this finish up by about end of 2024 or 2025, realistically, early 2025. Here's how I see it. I see this as fascinating strategy by Reliance and Viacom 18. See, Disney in India relied on getting paying users for Hotstar on the basis of the Indian Premier League, which is the world's largest annual cricket tournament. It's like the Super Bowl outside of the Super Bowl. It's like the FIFA World Cup in a sense. It's huge. It has billions of users watching. In fact, Uday Shankar, when he was the head of Disney India, took a major bet on live events. 2 reasons for this. Firstly, India is less of a subscription market and more of an advertising driven market. And this is why newspaper, for example, subscription pricing is lower than the cost of the newsprint, and they make money primarily from advertising. Many TV channels in the country choose to be free because that brings more users. Free is a habit. It's an old habit, but even though it's now changing, free still draws more people. But nothing draws more people in India at the same time as cricket does. It's like the sea of ABC. The sea of ABC of content in India is astrology, Bollywood, and cricket. Secondly, with the advent of online streaming, user behavior has been shifting. So we're shifting from appointment viewing, which is watching a show at a particular time, sometimes with family, and a lot of old shows, a lot of old TV was like that, to now time shifted viewing, which is you watch what you want when you want to watch at your own convenience, and quite often on your own device. So compared to a TV in a drawing room, now you have personal devices where most people watch. And streaming services like Netflix and Amazon Prime are feeding that time shifted viewing in a sense, right? But sports is best watched when it's watched with your family or your friends, with the community, in coffee shops. So two things, like people in India don't like to pay for content, but they will pay to watch a match when it is live. Secondly, crores of people watch sports together in India, at least on channels, on multiple channels, like they watch it on the same time, which means that for the advertisers there's an opportunity to advertise because multiple people are watching at the same time, right? So it's the only place where you get a large number of users watching the same thing at the same time. That means advertising has more reach, which is why the Super Bowl also works. So this is why Disney and Star, paid so much for IPL rights earlier. It's the biggest annual sports extravaganza. Millions of people watch it. So what Uday Shankar did at that time when he was at Disney was that he built properties around live to serve advertising, like kabaddi, badminton, football. I think there was an attempt at Kho as well, and kabaddi amongst these has been a huge hit with viewers. And hence with sponsors, because there's a collected viewership that advertisers can advertise too. But the IPL was still the largest of them all. The Indian Premier League was where a lot of the advertising money in the year went. In fact, when the IPL was on, movies don't get released because nobody goes to the theaters. So now, Disney's situation has been globally struggling for a bit. Its Marvel franchise is oversold. There are too many spin-off shows, too many spin-off movies. Many of these shows have not been successful. Bob Iger, Disney CEO, was brought back in to steady the ship after Bob Chapek essentially failed. Bob Iger has been looking at reinventing Disney. In fact, he was discussing the company's performance and the challenges it faces in India during a recent earnings call, and he said that they're basically struggling for subscribers. Hotstar, which was Disney streaming plus, it's Disney Plus in the US, Disney streaming service in India, has experienced significant declines in the country in terms of number of subscribers, and that kind of highlights the challenges that are being faced by all streaming services, not just in India but also globally, especially post the pandemic. So during the pandemic, also because there was no other mode of entertainment, subscription businesses went through the roof because people were stuck at home with only their screens. That's also why the edutech boom happened. Now, post the pandemic, there's live entertainment, there's other things for people to do, places for people to go, and streaming and subscription services are struggling a bit for growth. Like, how many subscription services will you actually pay for? So Iger's also had a tough return to Disney, and the last year has been a huge struggle for him. Disney's expenses have shot up. There's been a pushback against price hikes in the theme parks business. Disneyland in Florida has had massive trouble with Ron DeSantis, who says that the company is too woke, and there have been disagreements. And DeSantis has been trying to remove Disney's special status in Florida. The Marvels, the movie, bombed last year, and much of the last year, actors and screenwriters were on strike. So Bob Iger's got his hands full. He's been in that company a long time. He's been rumored to be retiring very often, and he did finally retire, but now he's had to come back. Now, what Reliance did in this situation was that they did an amazing rug pull with Viacom 18. So the IPL rights went up substantially. JioCinema and Disney India paid close to 24,000 crores for IPL rights for both streaming and TV separately. This is up from around 16,000 crores that Disney paid for both television and streaming. So around 48,000 crores this time versus 16,000 crores last time, right? Disney also importantly took streaming away from Hotstar with this kind of a situation. Alongside that, Viacom took this away from Hotstar. Apart from that, Viacom has also come in and taken HBO content away They've licensed it for Jio Cinema. So all of this has created an environment where people really didn't have a reason to pay for Hotstar. And Hotstar has lost users in the last year substantially. That they lost about 23.6% of their subscriber base in one of the quarters. In the third quarter last year, in the fourth quarter, they lost around 3% of their 7% of their subscriber base. Last quarter, there's been a little bit of an improvement in the first quarter of this year, but that's coincided with the ICC World Cup. So all in all, growth has been impacted because Disney didn't have the IPL, it didn't have HBO. And that's something that Reliance actually anticipated. Because of this, and because Disney's been under pressure in the US and globally, it was under pressure to basically get out of India. And Reliance Jio and Viacom 18 came into the rescue. And they bought Disney. They bought Disney streaming and television businesses in India. So absolutely brilliant strategy from Viacom 18 and Uday Shankar, where they saw an opportunity in Disney's troubles and created an environment where Disney looked to sell and exit. And this joint venture, I guess, is going to lose money now because it's paid so much for IPL collectively, like 48,000 crores. But it will also lead to a massive consolidation in India's entertainment ecosystem. And we know this, Reliance loves a monopoly, and that's what it's building. So interesting times ahead.